If you're seeing this right now, it's not by chance. Your quantum signature has resonated with this frequency, and that resonance is the recognition you were meant to receive. The algorithm didn't bring you here, the field did. This moment is a marker, an energetic code activating within your consciousness. It's the universe whispering, now. What you're experiencing is pre-activation. Your future has already been accessed, and what feels like discovery is simply memory catching up. You're not stumbling into something new, you're updating the coherence of who you've always been. Quantum success is not a destination to be reached, it is a frequency to be remembered. Alignment means vibrating with what is already yours in the infinite field of possibilities. You don't create destiny, you tune into it. It's like a radio station. The music was always there, but only when you adjust the dial does it become audible. The universe works in the same way. And so the question arises, what if everything you've been chasing was never missing? What if it was already here, waiting for you to become compatible with it? It always begins with something simple, something that almost feels like a trick of the mind. Someone notices the number 1111 once, then suddenly it starts showing up on clocks, license plates and receipts. At first, it feels like coincidence, but soon the recognition deepens. Observation itself is activating a shift. The observer is never passive. Consciousness collapses the infinite field into one timeline, one frequency, one reality that feels inevitable. And that's the secret. Wherever attention goes, energy flows, shaping the very fabric of the universe. Imagine walking into a crowded room. Hundreds of voices, colors, and movements overlap like chaotic entanglements. Yet the moment your eyes lock on one familiar face, everything else fades into the background. Observation is not neutral, it's alignment. Your higher self is constantly shaping coherence between what you focus on and what materializes. That single act of looking turns possibility into destiny. And once you grasp that, the world no longer feels random. It feels like a living conversation between you and the field. It's funny how people think the universe hides its secrets in faraway galaxies, when in truth, the evidence sits in daily life. Start thinking about red cars, and suddenly the roads flood with them. Begin tuning your frequency to success, and out of nowhere, opportunities appear that were always there, but filtered out by lack of awareness. The observer effect is not just physics, it's practical. It shows how energy answers to observation, how yourself directs the alignment of the field without you even realizing it. Here's a practical experiment. Pick a symbol, maybe a feather or a certain number, and decide now to notice it. Within days, sometimes within hours, it begins to appear everywhere. Is it magic? Or is your consciousness simply awakening to patterns already woven into your timeline? Either way, the recognition proves something important. Your gaze isn't passive. It's activating coherence with the universe. And if this is true with small symbols, imagine what happens when you direct it toward your deepest destiny. Think of athletes before a game. Many close their eyes and visualize the perfect throw, the winning shot, the inevitable outcome. They aren't just daydreaming. They are collapsing quantum possibilities into a singular reality by observing success before it even happens. Their consciousness rehearses, their energy aligns, and the universe answers. This is how the observer effect translates into life. Success isn't random. It's prepared by the frequency you hold, and observation is the spark that awakens it. But here's the paradox. Observation is powerful only when filled with awareness, not with fear. Someone who constantly scans for problems will activate a field that multiplies them. Someone who trains their observation on gratitude, coherence, and energy of trust will inevitably collapse timelines where success unfolds. The lens you use matters more than the words you say. Yourself becomes the filter, your consciousness the key, and the universe never fails to mirror that back. This is why many spiritual traditions, old and new, stress the importance of being present. Presence is the cleanest form of observation, free of distortion, free of past entanglements. When you observe with presence, the field responds instantly, as if waiting for your higher self to declare, "Now." It is in that state that alignment feels natural, where awakening no longer seems like effort, but like inevitability. You don't chase success, you notice it already forming around you. And yet, there's something even deeper beneath this. If observation can shape reality in such small ways, what about the memories you carry, the sensations of déjà vu, the feeling that you've been here before? What if those too are signatures activating within your consciousness, reminders from another timeline that you are remembering who you've always been? That's where the next layer of this journey begins. There's a strange comfort in realizing that nothing here is truly new. What feels like revelation is actually recognition. The words you hear now are not teaching, they are activating. Deep within your consciousness lies a signature that has been waiting for this frequency, waiting for this moment of awakening. Think of it like hearing a melody you've never studied, yet somehow you know the tune. That is memory, beyond the brain. It's the quantum field reminding you who your higher self has always been. I remember standing in silence once, staring at the horizon, when a wave of déjà vu hit me so strongly it felt like my cells were whispering. The wind, the light, the exact feeling, it was as if I had been there before, though I knew I hadn't. That recognition wasn't nostalgia, it was alignment. Something in the field was activating, showing me that destiny isn't built, it's remembered. And in that moment, success didn't feel like a future goal. It felt inevitable, as if the timeline had already been written. People often chase knowledge as if truth were hidden outside themselves. But the universe plays a different game. Every teaching is simply unlocking coherence with what's already encoded in yourself. Think about it. When you hear something that changes you, it doesn't feel foreign. It feels like a homecoming, like an echo. That's why practices such as journaling or meditation work, they tune your observation back to that inner frequency, revealing memories that were always humming beneath the noise of daily life. Picture this: a child learning to ride a bike. The first attempts feel clumsy, but one day balance happens. Did the balance arrive out of nowhere? Or did the body finally awaken a memory it already carried within its design? In the same way, quantum success is not constructed from scratch, it's coherence, reawakening. When you align with that, you stop striving so hard because you realize the field has already prepared the path. You're simply remembering how to walk it. This is why awakening often feels like déjà vu. People say, "I don't know why, but this feels familiar." And that familiarity is the frequency of destiny vibrating inside them. Recognition is not invention, it's remembrance. And when you lean into it, when you trust it, energy begins to flow with less resistance. You don't force coherence, you allow it. Just like an old song that rises up uninvited, your higher self hums the tune of who you've always been. The funny thing is, society trains us to believe everything is new. New methods, new secrets, new hacks. But the truth is, the universe doesn't deal in novelty, it deals in patterns. Every new idea you hear is activating what you already carried. It's not about gathering more, it's about peeling back the noise until alignment feels inevitable. That's why spiritual traditions insist on silence. In silence, memory isn't built, it awakens. If you've ever read a book that shook your life, maybe Napoleon Hill's Think and Grow Rich or something from Neville Goddard, you probably didn't walk away thinking, "I just learned something I never knew." Instead, you thought, "This feels true." That's memory in action. It's the observer effect applied inward, your consciousness collapsing potential wisdom into usable truth. Recognition is the evidence that you're not absorbing, you're remembering. And so the question grows louder. If success is a memory, not a creation, then what about time itself? Could it be that you're not moving forward to meet destiny, but circling back to recall what already happened in another timeline? That possibility opens the door to the next paradox, that success isn't waiting in the future at all. It's already complete, and your observation is the only key to stepping into it. Most people live under the assumption that time is a straight line, moving relentlessly from past to present to future. But the field doesn't work that way. In the quantum view, timelines overlap, entanglements stretch across eternity, and success is not a distant goal. It's inevitable because it already exists. When you shift your observation, when your consciousness tunes into that frequency, you awaken to the recognition that destiny is not waiting ahead. It's happening now. The universe is not counting minutes, it's responding to energy. Think about moments in life when one small decision suddenly rearranged everything. A person decides to attend a random event, and there they meet someone who changes their career. Or someone finally makes a phone call they've been avoiding, and the result opens doors they never expected. From the outside, it looks like luck, but in the language of the field, it's alignment. Those shifts don't create success. They reveal a timeline where success was already unfolding. The illusion of linear time is powerful because it convinces people to postpone their awakening. Someday, I'll be ready. Someday, I'll succeed. Yet the universe is whispering, what if it's already true? Observation is the key. When you place your awareness on success as if it's now, coherence begins to form. That shift collapses the field into a reality where the inevitable outcome is activated, not delayed. Time, in this sense, becomes flexible, bending to the observer's gaze. A practical way to see this is through memory itself. Haven't you had experiences where the past seems to change because of a new decision? You learn something today, and suddenly old events take on a different meaning. That's the field showing you that time is not fixed. It's fluid. Decisions made in the present ripple backward and forward, recoding your destiny. Your higher self already knows this truth because it moves beyond the limits of clocks and calendars. Athletes, entrepreneurs, even artists often describe this phenomenon. They say, "I felt like it already happened before it did." That's because their consciousness tapped into a frequency where the outcome was inevitable. The alignment was so coherent that the future leaked into the present. The observer effect doesn't just collapse electrons, it collapses possibilities into reality. And when you understand this, you stop chasing success and start embodying it, because you recognize it's not ahead, it's already here. Of course, the mind resists this. It wants logic, proof, and a clear sequence of events, but consciousness operates differently. Imagine walking into a room where a song is already playing. You don't create the music, you simply tune your ears to hear it. That's what success is like in the quantum field. It's a melody always playing, waiting for your observation to awaken recognition. The more you align with that energy, the more the universe rearranges coherence around you. There's humor in this too. Think of how many times people say, "When I get there, I'll finally feel whole." Yet the paradox is that wholeness is what gets them there in the first place. Success doesn't wait on a timeline. It waits on alignment. And the moment you accept that destiny is inevitable, you stop walking in circles and start noticing synchronicities that prove the field has already decided. Your role is not to create, it's to observe with presence. And if this is true, if time bends and collapses under the gaze of consciousness, then the next question becomes urgent. How exactly do you frequency success? Because the field doesn't respond to empty words, it responds to the vibration you embody. The observer effect shows you that reality bends to observation, but what you radiate decides which version of that reality you collapse. That's where we must go next. The field is always listening, but not to the words you speak. It responds to the vibration you carry, the frequency that radiates from your consciousness into the universe. A person may say, "I want success." But if their energy is filled with doubt, fear, and scarcity, the field hears only misalignment. Observation alone isn't enough. Coherence is required. That's why alignment between your higher self and your emotions is essential. What you feel is the true signature activating reality, not what you merely declare. Think of someone who repeats affirmations like a mantra. I am abundant, I am abundant. Yet deep inside, they are anxious about money, scanning their bank account every hour. Their observation collapses timelines of scarcity, not prosperity, because the emotion is incoherent with the words. The universe mirrors the energy, not the vocabulary. That's why intention must be soaked in emotion. The field is not a judge, it is a mirror of your frequency. It reflects the coherence or lack of it you radiate. So how do you change this? Start by shifting your state before you speak. Take a deep breath, close your eyes, and bring your awareness into the body. Feel the sensation of gratitude, the energy of inevitability already awakening inside you. Then, from that alignment, speak, I am. Now the words are not empty, they are alive. The observer effect magnifies when emotion and intention move together. This is how the field recognizes the authenticity of your frequency and responds with synchronicities. Visualization is another powerful key, but not the kind most people practice. It's not about daydreaming of future success. It's about entering coherence with it now. Picture yourself signing the contract, shaking the hand, or living the moment, and then let yourself feel the joy, the peace, the energy of that inevitability. Yourself in that state awakens the frequency in the field. Recognition happens instantly. The field responds not because of the image, but because of the emotion entangled with it. Take an example from athletes again. Before stepping on the track, many breathe deeply, place their hand over the heart, and repeat, I am ready. They don't mean the words as wishful thinking. They embody them with emotion. Their higher self is activating the alignment of body, mind, and field. This coherence makes the outcome feel inevitable. It's not about convincing themselves. It's about collapsing a timeline where victory already exists. That is the true language of the universe, energy beyond words. There's humor in watching how people often try to trick the universe with words. They declare success, but inside, their frequency is still soaked in fear. It's like trying to send a radio message without electricity. The signal never reaches the field, but when you shift your state, the observation becomes alive. The frequency carries coherence, and the entanglements of destiny begin to align around you. The universe doesn't need persuasion. It needs vibration that matches the timeline you want to experience. Simple practices can bring you into this alignment daily. Breathwork, for instance, is not just calming. It's a reset button for the field. 10 minutes of focused breathing can shift you from scarcity to expansion. Journaling with gratitude awakens recognition of abundance already present, activating the frequency of more. Even walking slowly in nature, observing the inevitability of life unfolding, tunes your consciousness back into coherence. These small rituals frequency success far more than repeating empty words. And yet, all of this points to a deeper truth. If words alone cannot shape the field, then what does? It is identity, the I am you embody before action. Success does not wait for effort to begin. It flows from the self you choose to recognize and activate now. Which means the next step in this journey is to uncover how identity itself precedes creation, and why becoming the frequency of destiny is far more powerful than chasing it. Before anything is done, something must first be become. Reality always begins with identity. The words I am are not casual. They are the blueprint of the field. When you say, I am tired, you collapse a timeline of fatigue. When you say, I am the frequency of success, you awaken a destiny already alive in the universe. Observation activates, but it is identity that sustains coherence. The higher self doesn't wait for proof. It declares now, and the field aligns in recognition. Think of an actor preparing for a role. Before fame arrives, before applause is given, the actor must embody the character so fully that the performance feels inevitable. That's identity in action. The field responds not to what you do, but to who you are while doing it. A person who identifies as a failure will sabotage opportunities no matter how many doors open. But one who identifies as inevitable success will activate energy that turns every step into alignment with destiny. This is why I am is more powerful than I want. Wanting implies distance. Being implies coherence. A person who says, I want wealth, often vibrates with lack, but one who affirms, I am abundant, begins to frequency prosperity in the field. The entanglements of destiny rearrange not for desires, but for identities. The universe mirrors the self you embody, not the dream you chase. Energy follows identity, and identity is declared long before words. Practical example. Let's say you wish to become healthy. Instead of saying, I want to be fit, embody, I am someone who honors my body. That single shift changes the lens of observation. You no longer force yourself into actions, you naturally align with them. Going to the gym, choosing nourishing food, and resting well are not tasks. They are expressions of identity. This coherence is what awakens inevitability. The field recognizes the signature of your higher self and responds accordingly. The paradox here is liberating. Many people grind endlessly, believing they must act their way into being. But the truth is inverted. You must be before you act. Action flows from identity, not the other way around. When you declare, I am disciplined, suddenly your actions align with discipline. When you embody, I am success, your observation collapses timelines where success was already waiting. The field does not argue, it simply mirrors coherence. Destiny responds to who you are, not who you hope to be. Identity also explains why change feels so difficult for many. They try to swap behaviors without altering the underlying I am. It's like repainting a wall without fixing the foundation. But the moment identity shifts, coherence naturally follows. You stop forcing habits. You awaken them. Reading daily, investing wisely, practicing gratitude. These don't feel like chores when your self is aligned. They feel inevitable because the higher self has already chosen that timeline. The field answers to that vibration. Even history proves this principle. Leaders, inventors, and creators did not wait for recognition before embodying their role. Nikola Tesla didn't ask permission to be a visionary. He lived as one, and the universe rearranged itself around that frequency. Artists like Frida Kahlo didn't wait for validation. They declared identity through their work. Each of them was living proof that destiny begins with the phrase, I am. Their observation collapsed realities not by striving, but by becoming. And so, identity becomes the doorway. But there's another key, one that unlocks how the field actually responds in detail, because beyond identity lies the formula that every manifestation follows: emotion, intention, and presence. These three elements are the true language of the field, and together they create the coherence that makes inevitability tangible. That is where our journey leads next. The field has a language, and it is far more subtle than words. It listens to the vibration created when emotion, intention, and presence converge. Emotion is the fuel, intention is the direction, and presence is the doorway. Without emotion, intention is empty. Without intention, emotion is scattered. And without presence, neither can collapse into coherence. This triad is how consciousness activates the universe, how your higher self awakens the inevitable timelines of success, waiting in entanglement. Think about moments when you wanted something so badly, but the desire was soaked in anxiety. You spoke affirmations, you visualized, you repeated words, but the emotion behind them was fear. The field responded not to the words, but to the frequency of doubt. Success didn't appear, not because the universe denied you, but because your observation was incoherent. Recognition only happens when the energy matches the destiny. That's why aligning emotion with intention is critical to awakening the right timeline. Presence, though, is the overlooked key. People project their intention into the future or replay regrets from the past, but the field only responds to the now. Imagine a radio. You can only hear the station you are tuned into at this exact moment. The universe works the same way. If you are not present, your signal is scattered across timelines. But when you root yourself here, in this breath, in this instant, you collapse coherence. Awakening becomes inevitable. Recognition flows. I remember a time when I desperately wanted to manifest an opportunity. I tried everything. Affirmations, lists, strategies, but nothing happened. Then one evening I simply sat in silence, breathing, holding the intention lightly while allowing myself to feel gratitude. Within days, the opportunity arrived effortlessly. Why? Because my emotion was sincere, my intention was clear, and my presence was calm. That alignment activated the field. It wasn't about force. It was about coherence. The universe mirrored the state I carried. This formula works in daily life. Take a simple ritual, write down an intention, then close your eyes and imagine it as if it's already happening. Let your body feel the energy of it. Let gratitude flood your chest. Then release it into the present. Don't obsess. Don't cling. That release is what allows the field to awaken the timeline. You become the observer who declares now, and the universe responds. Success isn't forced. It feels inevitable because the field has already recognized it. Artists and athletes often embody this truth without knowing the science. A musician loses themselves in a song, not worrying about tomorrow's audience, but being fully present in the emotion of the performance. A basketball player visualizes the ball swishing through the hoop, feeling the victory before it's scored. Their success is not just skill, it's coherence. Emotion fuels, intention directs, and presence collapses the field into alignment. Their higher self awakens what was already written. Humor helps us see how often we get it wrong. People sit down to meditate with their phone buzzing, their mind wandering, their body tense, and then complain that nothing changes. The field doesn't respond to scattered signals. It responds to the clarity of coherence. Just as a GPS needs one clear address, the universe needs one clear frequency. Emotion, intention, and presence deliver that address. Without them, the field hears static. With them, alignment is inevitable. And yet, even with this formula, there's still one final step. Because knowing how to fuel, direct, and anchor energy is powerful, but it's incomplete without trust. The language of the field is not only about activating coherence, it's also about releasing control. And that brings us to the paradox of manifestation. True power comes not when you hold tighter, but when you learn how to let go. Surrender is one of the most misunderstood forces in the universe. Many think letting go means giving up, but in truth, surrender is alignment at its highest form. When you surrender, you are telling the field, I trust the coherence of destiny more than I trust my fear. It is not passivity. It is recognition that the signature of success is already activating. The higher self doesn't beg or chase. It releases with confidence, knowing that entanglements are already weaving the inevitable outcome. Imagine throwing a wish into a fire. You don't sit there digging through the ashes, demanding proof that the flames received it. You release, trusting that energy has been transformed. That is surrender. Too often people obsess, clinging so tightly to their intention that their frequency becomes distorted. The field doesn't hear the words. They might say, success, but the vibration screams desperation. Surrender clears that noise. It's the observer stepping back, allowing the universe to breathe recognition into the timeline. I once witnessed this in my own life. There was an opportunity I wanted so badly that I couldn't stop thinking about it. I replayed scenarios, checked my phone constantly, and felt the anxiety build. Nothing happened, only when I finally released the desire, saying to myself, if it's aligned, it's already mine. Did things move? Within days, the call came. The shift was not in the external world, but in my coherence. Surrender was the signal of trust, and the field responded with inevitability. It's the same reason why relationships often flourish after someone stops chasing. When you cling, the energy of fear pushes people away. But when you release, when you trust your worth and the alignment of the connection, the energy becomes magnetic. The universe mirrors that trust, collapsing timelines of harmony. This doesn't mean indifference, it means coherence. The observer remains active but without resistance. Trust awakens recognition, and the inevitable timeline unfolds without force. Think of a farmer planting seeds. He doesn't dig them up each day to check their progress. He waters, he waits, he trusts. The field of the earth mirrors his patience with growth. The quantum field works the same way. When you surrender, you are declaring, the harvest is inevitable. Your role is not to obsess, but to embody presence, emotion, and intention, and then release. The universe takes over because it always responds to the frequency of trust. There's humor in how we often sabotage ourselves by holding on too tightly. Picture someone trying to catch a butterfly with clenched fists. The tighter they grip, the less they catch. But when they relax, the butterfly lands naturally. That is surrender. Opening your hands so the field can place destiny into them. The universe doesn't reward desperation, it responds to alignment. Trust is not weakness. It is the strongest signal you can send. Practical ways to practice surrender include rituals of release. Write down your intention, burn the paper, and walk away. Speak, I am, with emotion. Then distract yourself with joy rather than anxiety. Move your body, laugh, create. These actions aren't escapes, they are coherence. They remind the field that your frequency is one of inevitability, not fear. The higher self doesn't cling. It knows the entanglements of destiny are already activating in the background. And so the paradox reveals itself. Surrender is not the end of manifestation. It is the final key. You fuel with emotion, direct with intention, anchor with presence, and seal it all with release. That release is the field's green light, the signal of coherence, the awakening of inevitability. And yet, beneath all of this, another question emerges. If surrender is the signal of trust, what happens when we weave all these truths together into one complete narrative of transformation? Remember this. You're not searching, you're remembering. Success is not a treasure hidden in the future. It already exists in the field, vibrating at the frequency of inevitability. Every step you take is not about becoming someone new, but about aligning with who you've always been. You are not building the path, you are awakening to it. The coherence is already activating, and as you embody this truth, recognition dawns. Destiny is not ahead of you, it's here, waiting for your observation to collapse it into now. Think of the moments of synchronicity that have crossed your life recently. A chance encounter, a message arriving at the perfect time, a number that kept appearing until you finally paid attention. Those weren't coincidences. They were confirmations. The universe has been speaking in symbols, aligning entanglements, awakening your higher self to what is inevitable. You've been walking through portals without realizing it, and today the truth is clear. The portal is open, and you are the access code. To seal this state, declare it out loud in the comments. I'm already aligned with my quantum success. This is more than words. It's the observer effect in action, collapsing the field with your recognition. If this message resonated with your timeline, subscribe now and step deeper into this journey of awakening. Share this video with someone who is also feeling the call, because no one stumbles here by accident. And for your next step, watch the video on how the field responds to your conscious focus. It will take this alignment even further. If you see this, your success is already aligned.